Hey everybody, I thought it was time to do a video that some people have brought up to me and that I've kind of been meaning to do. I've got a bug in me here. The offshoot of the 2 spiritual warfare videos that I gave, which seem to indicate that there's quite a lot to be concerned about right now, quite a lot to almost be fearful of in the great changes that are taking place now. And I mentioned that from within the dream, that's true. But this dream is to see the current situation from outside the dream, from absolute eyes, and through those eyes, of course, there's nothing to worry about. So I want to share that dual perspective to you, that 2 sides of the fence. And this one's one of the harder ones to talk about, to try to share a non-dual seeing to someone who is yet to have a non-dual experience, but I'm going to do my best to try to share it with you here. I'm outside again. I thought you might prefer to see some nature behind me rather than the wall of my home. If that's not good for you, let me know, I guess. But so yeah, once you have the realization that you are a character in a dream, that what you see around you is not real reality. It's a computer-generated hologram is the best way of describing it. It's a mentally generated image that's not actually real. The walls of Plato's cave, right? And when you also see that you yourself are part of that dream, that the thing sitting here talking to you is not what I really am. It's just a character in a dream. It's a character in a movie that's being played. And once you have this perspective on a deep level, not on a mental level, like you can't read a book and have this understanding. You can kind of grasp it slightly, but you'll never really know what I'm talking about unless that cosmic accident, as I call it, happens to you. And you realize that, yes, I'm a character in a video game. And from that perspective, just like when you go to sleep at night and have a dream, the dream is scary while you think the dream is real. But as soon as you become lucid, as soon as you are able to realize, wait, I'm actually not here in this is not my normal life, this is not waking life, this is a dream world, I'm asleep in my bed, a great power arises. A power arises because you know, A, nothing can happen to you that's of any consequence, nothing can happen to you that can in any way disturb the real you that's sleeping. And you also gain a tremendous power because all of the things that fear held you from within the dream world, they go away. If you want to fly, you fly. If you want to change something, you change something. If you want to build something, you build something. If you want to manifest something, you manifest something. It's not that much different here in this particular dream. It's just the building blocks are a bit different and the way it's structured is a bit more different and complex. And so, to me, standing on both sides now of this very strange reality, the in the dream thing and the out of the dream thing, when you're looking through the eyes of the out of the dream thing, as I'm trying to be very present to do during this video, the distinct feeling is as long as you're living like a human being and are going to die like a human being, then there is nothing to worry about. Everything else is just acts in the play, elements of the movie script. As long as you play your character properly, play your chosen role, there's really nothing to worry about. Because another thing that absolute reality shows you is that nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong here. It's insane. Let's not try to hide that fact that the reality we all experience on a day-to-day basis is insane. And it's been insane for hundreds, for sure, maybe even thousands of years. The whole structure of it, nothing of it operates with any kind of normalcy, any kind of way that you would think this would be a good, healthy way to create a world. No, this place is insane. And it's getting more and more insane. And bizarrely, the more awake you get, the more you will see the dream as a nightmare. You won't identify with the nightmare, but you'll see it as a nightmare. That's pretty common to people who have honestly awoken. A great number only talk about how wonderful the place is. They've put the blinders on to what this reality really is. And they've needed to because they've been escaping their own pain. When you no longer need to escape your own pain, then you're fine to be in the pain of the world, the pain of the dream. And the dream is not evil, it's just false, right? It's not evil. It's false and it's insane. And you don't need to make it sane. That's the next part of it. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to be insane. I know that's hard to understand. A huge number of people right now, I'm getting emails from tons of people and messages on various forums I'm a part of, all asking my opinion of what they can do, how we can fix something, how we can, as I said, get more people to see things. I'm just responding, but then you're also claiming that something is wrong, and it's not. Insanity might be exactly what this place was created to be. So you trying to make the entire place sane is going against the complete structure of the dream. If you had a computer program or a computer game that you put into your computer and try to play a different game on it, it's not going to work. It's just not. The game is the game. The structure is the structure. The characters will do what they do. The options are the options of the game. Unless you can go in and completely rewrite the code, absolutely, totally, and create a different game completely, it's not going to work. And I know people will say, well, if we do all these things, we will be rewriting the code. In a sense, you will be, but the code of this reality is way more complex than you can imagine. Now, I'm not saying humans don't have a tremendous power. Don't get me wrong. Humans have cut themselves away from unbelievable power through our connections with nature, through our connections with the spirit, through our connections that just exist in this reality, in the dream. There's a power that is beyond what anyone thinks. But to try to fix the dream, to try to say God is wrong and he needs me to fix it, right? That's really what happens. God was wrong and he wants me to fix it. Well, that's already delusion. That's already delusion. Now, that doesn't mean I don't highly recommend that each one of you hopefully choose to be sane. Hopefully choose to be human and choose to be sane. The Cathars, who I will be doing a video on in a few days, they chose sanity. They chose their beliefs and their knowledge and chose death over changing. Many Native Indians chose not to go to the reservations and would rather die in the lands that they grew up in, grew to die as free people, still with their knowledge, still connected to nature. I have great respect for all of these people through history who chose to remain human even at the price of dying. And I think as long as you have continued to be human, a bear needs to be a bear, a fish needs to be a fish, a crow needs to be a crow, an ant that was crawling on my back needs to be an ant. I'm not angry at the ant that was on my back. That's what it does. There's ants here. They're going to crawl on me. And as a human, there's a certain way to be human. And I think as long as we are doing that, and as long as we try to do our best to be sane in the dream and reject insanity individually, not to reject insanity from the standpoint of fixing it or changing it all, just to choose inner sanity ourself, then no matter what happens, there's nothing to worry about. Because I'm then very confident that upon the death experience, going into the death experience as a human who has been as connected as possible to humanness, there will be a great doorway, a great transformative option. And the billions of what do you call them? Zombies who are just going to do what authority tells them to do and are not going to think, are not going to in any way question anything, happily give up their rights, their freedoms, and their humanness just for a few more years of semi-breathing. I don't think the death experience is going to be great. Again, from absolute reality, it's not wrong that that happens either, right? I can be disappointed, especially people who are close to me, that they choose to be zombies and choose to be ones who are going to make my life extremely difficult down the road. But it's not wrong. I don't need to fix it. I wished it would be different, and I wish we could go along, move on a transformative journey together, but we're not going to. But I've met, just from doing these videos, a lot of really great people that in some way are part of my transformative journey. I have one gentleman in the US who's been part of that journey for 2 years now, and he goes through his challenges, he goes through his ups and downs, but his seeing, actually I would say his seeing of from absolute perspective is clearer than mine right now. He's extremely clear, seeing the nothing to fear in the world. There's nothing to fear and there's nothing wrong, but he still then gets trapped in it, his character. The character has not evolved in his awakening, hasn't infused his physical being in a way that makes it rather smooth for him yet to be in the world. He'll get there, assuming he still has time left to go. But so I just wanted to share some of this with you. It's unbelievably difficult to try to, as you can imagine, present non-dual understanding, absolute consciousness, into a 10 or 15 minute video on YouTube. And most of the ones out there who are trying to do this are not really doing it. They're presenting a bit of a fairy tale that can sell their workshops, sell their meetings, sell their DVDs, sell their one-to-one sessions, whatever. You'll notice I don't have any of that. I don't do any of that. There's no workshops. There's no weekend retreats I want you to buy. No $1,000 seminars. I'm just here sharing what I feel needs to be shared with the few people out there that might be able to grasp onto this and might be able to, even at a certain level, not completely get it, because again, if you haven't had an absolute experience, this is going to be very difficult for you. But I'm hoping that some of you have at least touched this place, have had this, at least touched the void, at least touched the nothingness, and you've had this place where you can feel for a short period of time, yes, no matter what happens around me, there's nothing to worry about, because things are running as the computer game is structured, as the computer reality is structured. And so that allows us to take a deep, and that doesn't mean you're not going to feel stress and fear and anxiety and worry. Of course, the body's going to, these things can naturally come up. It's not wrong that they come up. But as soon as you're able to, at the same time, recognize, oh yes, the body feels this, the body feels that, and in fact, in certain situations, it's quite justified. There would normally be some reasons to be quite worried right now. Yeah, it makes sense. And if you can also, but at the same time, none of it is wrong, including the fact that I feel worried. That's also not wrong. I'm just having a human experience in an insane reality. Right? I'm having a human experience in an insane reality. That's going to be tough for the form to figure out, to work with. So I just wanted to share those things with you, that the greatest gift you have, and the greatest power you have, is to sink into your humanness and stay human, and then allow the fear and the worry of doing so to probably not vanish, but just diminish some, just drop, just calm down, and then just watch things unfold as they're going to unfold, with the interest of a character in a movie, but also knowing you're also outside of it, and you wrote the script, and you're doing the direction, and you're doing the play, and you're playing the parts, it changes the intensity of the emotion and the experience, even when it's not nice for the body, even when the body is going to have to go through an experience it's going to be difficult. It's taken me a while to do this video. I was originally going to do this on the 22nd along with a video on the Cathars. It's the feast day of the Magdalene, a very famous day in the very early, I won't say Christian, but the very early religious calendar. And in fact, it was the day that the first Cathars were killed in Béziers. And so I also wanted to do my Cathar video on them, but this video didn't go well, my first run of it, and it'll take me a few days to get the Cathar video done. And I've got some others people have asked about. I'm going to do one on the masculine and the feminine, what masculinity is, what femininity is, and how they actually interact together, and how it's affecting the world, given that those things are being destroyed on us. So that's coming up. Some others have asked for a video on, I mentioned parasitic entities, and what they are and how to kind of deal with them a little bit. So I'm going to do a video on that coming up. So that's going to kind of be my next week or 10 days. That's what's, just so you know what to look forward to. That's what's coming. And again, your comments are quite useful. I appreciate them. I appreciate to know that these are actually reaching far more people than I thought they would. And thanks for joining in and hearing what I'm sharing and feeling that there might be something of use. And take what is of use to you, leave what isn't, right? You don't have to believe everything. You just have to allow something in to contemplate and see what works for you. And if you have an idea or something you'd like me to expand on or try to explain more, or another topic for something in the future, please leave it ahead. So, yes, it's a very concerning time. Yes, it's going to be a very stressful time. It's going to get more and more insane on a monthly basis. Guaranteed, this is not going to get any better. This is going to get way nuttier. But I'm also saying, at the absolute level, there is nothing to worry about. See you soon.